absorbing or releasing quite a bit of negative polarity at the moment, that it's probably not the way it's supposed to be.
Did you notice that yesterday? I guess my comment, Zany, in respect to that is what actually we're seeing is, firstly, I want to say we are the truth that we've all been waiting for. And we are the ones that we've all been looking to. Not like tomorrow, not the new children that are about to be birthed. It's like that which we have walked, that which we have traversed, and that which we are as a truth, we have brought forward to be present in this now. And that which is, as you say, like this negative energetic that is, so clear, in many ways all it is that take the big soup, the big cosmic soup, and the soup has gotten stirred. We're at the critical stirring, boiling pot on the stove point. And what's happening is the fat is rising. And so, at one point or another, it's not to say that none of these energies, entities, expressions weren't always present. They always were. Yeah. But in the perfection of all that is, they're being brought to our conscious awareness. Why now? Because we're capable now. We're capable of handling them. We're capable of having a level of non-judgment, of sense of self, of integrity, and of wholeness that allows us to be present with it, recognize it, and I can't even say transmute it because sometimes it takes going to the depth of it. But walk through it in a physical sense so that evolutionary change can be made manifest. Now, we can't just frequency that away. We can't just kumbaya that away, although we all like to do that every once in a while.
Right.
But it does take us going to the depths of whatever physical experience that looks like good old Helen, Helen back. We become close personal friends on occasions.
Oh, yeah.
Intimate. We become intimate with Helen, and we walk with her, and as we walk, there is an evolutionary change that is being made manifest. Now, that can't be done without full consciousness. We can't just say, oh, we heard about that and it's not there anymore, because that does not change the physical evolutionary pattern. In order to change it, you walk it, you talk it, you live it, you breathe it, you take it through you, and then it changes.
Now that kind of brings up another question that is, I think, puzzling for some, is how does one go about that process of changing consciousness? Because that seems to be, we can change a lot of different things about ourselves, but that seems to be one thing that's pretty subjective, and it's not as easy as it might sound. A lot of people probably have a very high opinion of how conscious they are, but according to, some of the old teachers, Gurdjieff was one of them, Ouspensky another, we're born partially conscious, and it's our job to finish the process of becoming fully conscious, and that's a lifelong or multiple lives long task. So how does one hold on to or create a higher consciousness within?
Well, what you say is absolutely correct, and there are those that say that, if we were complete, we wouldn't be here.
Right.
I think one of the biggest things that each of us personally can consider is it's like the fact that we are all and nothing simultaneously. So in terms of like where do we start? First of all, I know right now one of the keys for this planet, for this race as humans, is to, quite frankly, surrender the mind. And
right.
They say in Tibetan dogma that, like trying to stop or harness the mind is like trying to stop a team of runaway horses.
Yes, right. Right.
In a sense, it's true. We have to take the element of the horse and recognize it as an exchange of power for love. We always have used like that concept with horse and power and the mind and brilliancy and if we can start to take that concept of power and substitute in whatever context we're defining it, in whatever sentence, substitute the word love, we know that we're starting to make some headway.
Yeah, oh yes, good point. Good point.
This concept of like surrendering the mind, because we're always, especially recently, we are so ego-bound, we want to go, but why and what for? And in that expression of the quantum field where all is connected, because it is, whether we are mindful or aware of it or heart-filled with it or not, it still is.
Right.
In that place, there is no why. There is no history. There is only each moment. So when we get off our spiritual ego bandwagon to say, but I'm not doing this unless it makes sense this way, and we start to embrace the moment, because and recognize that in the next moment maybe we'll know another piece, but we can't know if we're operating within the omnipotent. We cannot know beforehand why. That's akin to human goals and objectives as opposed to the divine totality of truth. And our capacity to be and to, in each moment, just say, okay, maybe I don't know why, maybe I don't even know how or what this is meaning, but I'm here, I'm present, I've shown up by the mere fact that I'm here, and I'm going to take a breath, and I'm going to allow, without expectations, without pondering, if I do this, will I get that? I'm just going to be gracious. I'm going to say, I've shown up, so show me. In concert with the whole that is, and that point which is within me, show me.
Well, that makes sense too, and it also relates to living in the flow. And when, for instance, I'll have days sometimes when I let go of my expectations about what I'm going to do, and I just go with whatever is next. Whatever the universe rolls my direction, then it might start with being hungry. And then it's about feeding myself, and then something else comes along, then, well, maybe I'll go to the store, and then something branches off of that, and sometimes it's like a little magical mystery tour, of synchronicities. I was just in the car a couple of days ago and wondering, gee, why am I out in all this traffic? This is terrible. And I just happened to glance at the clock, and it said 11:11. And it was like, oh, okay, I'm in the right place at the right time. So thank you for pointing that out. The little things like that give me clues of synchronicity.
And so often in those same moments, those moments which we would judge as negative, we would go, why did this happen? This sucks.
Right.
And a day later, a week later, maybe sometimes a month or maybe even sometimes a year later, we will recognize the profundity of us as souls having traversed that moment which seemed like it was difficult, like it was painful, like it was something was against us that we couldn't understand or we couldn't define.
Mm-hmm.
And it may take that long. It's often been shared, and I totally agree with this, is that the bigger the expression that we are immersed in as a unfolding of the divine, the less we're going to know. So what that means is that we may be going through like 1 month, 2 months, even years of intimate relationships with good old Helen back. And then later, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we will recognize that that was a doorway because many, many, many other people are following in our path, are following like, the cosmic cookie crumb trail. And there are reasons why we've traversed what seemed to have been such a great difficulty, but is bringing a whole other level of conscious awareness to not only ourselves but the planet as a whole.
Uh-huh. And often we're not aware of the extent to which we are affecting and empowering others because it's something that occurs on the invisible levels that we are not generally conscious of. Wouldn't you say that?
Very, very true. And we're constantly told, don't take it personal, right? Don't make anything personal. But we're going, but hang on, it's us, it's me. But, you and I have shared in a number of conversations seemingly totally insignificant details, and all of a sudden they're huge global awarenesses that it's like, oh my goodness, this is happening, that's happening, and at that time it just seemed like a gross inconvenience. One thing that I thought might be a good idea to mention is the seeming increasing pressure that we're all going through at this time. I know some people follow the Mount Mayan calendar energy shifts. We're moving from the 6th day into the sixth night, I believe, in November, and that's coming up right around the corner. And it seems that there may be the Ferris wheel that we're on is spinning a lot faster than it was, and some people are having trouble holding on. Have you noticed that at all in your life and the people that you're meeting? Well, there's no question that everything has speeded up, and in concert with that, many people are waiting for this and looking forward to like what's going to happen in the 2012. And as you accurately pointed out, we are in many ways, if we are thinking that we are evolved enough to be moving and connected and conscious that we are in the quantum field right here, right now. The quantum field has no time and no space and no history. So 2012 is right now. All the changes that we're looking forward to on the one hand are what we are affecting in each moment and each breath right here, right now. That means a reordering of all that is, and that we, in our own unique expressions, our own points of wholeness, have and are having a direct effect on it, on all of that in each moment. It also means that we are consciously being called upon to witness, to reflect back as to how we want to see that look. as opposed to just